And those last couple laps, just starting to feel for the first time, guys, we've won the Tour. This is it now.
Little bro who we grew up with now standing on the podium.
Our boy, this Brit from Africa, had done it.
Chris said to me, "Do you realise that you're engaged to the winner of the Tour de France?"
This is what I've worked for. This is what we've all worked for. It's such a cool feeling. It's hard for me to explain that. I had a British upbringing even though it was here in Kenya. My family is very British. My grandparents, I spent some time living with my grandparents. My father, once every couple of weeks, would have a big roast with Yorkshire puddings, roast buds, very British things that probably people wouldn't imagine here in Kenya. Here we are in the first hotel of the 2013 Tour de France. We're ready. The rest of the team is ready, and I've been counting down this day for a long time now, so looking forward to getting it on the road now. My very first bike would have been, I mean, as a kid, as a 5-6-year-old, I think I had a little black thing. I don't know what make it was or anything, but I just remember having the caddy wheels on for the first time and going up and down our sort of driveway, learning how to ride. A bit different to our bikes now. I had to pedal backwards to brake. I used to fall off a lot as a kid. I used to always come home with gashes and things, but that's what being a kid is all about. You know, I think you're meant to fall off and hurt yourself a little bit. I started off the day crashing in the neutral zone before the race had even started, and as a result I've got a few ice packs on my legs now, and just to stop the swelling around my knee and my thigh, my shoulder. But I feel good, and I think relative to some of the other crashes today, I came off all right. It's such a good feeling to be back. This is the first time I've come back properly in a few years. It feels really good to see that none of this has really changed much.
There's a lot to him off the bike. You know, he's not just centered on cycling. You know, as we can see by this trip to Kenya, you know, he wins his first Tour de France. What does he do? He comes to give back to his roots. That's the first thing he does.
Anthony. The last time I was here was before I'd ever done the Tour de France, and then coming back now again after having won it. It really was quite a nice feeling, and I hope they can see that I'm still the same person, that I haven't changed, even though I've supposedly become really successful. I'd like to think I've stayed the same person. Hey, hey man, how are you?
Nice. I first met Chris, I think in '99. It was actually the mother who approached me after one of our little local races that I won. And yeah, Chris was there with his little BMX bicycle.
He said to me, "You know what? You look pretty good on the bike today. You should come and join us."
One of his school teachers lent him a road bike, which was like extra oversized for him, and we had to do modifications to make it fit him. But from there on, he started riding with us and hanging out with us and eating with us, and he was the white crazy boy in the village.
And he'd have someone that he knew sort of 2 provinces away somewhere, and we'd spend all day riding on mountain bikes, on the roads and off the roads. It's sort of any sort of way that he knew to get there. we had some pretty colourful rides going through tea and coffee plantations sometimes through the really arid sort of Ngong Hills and the Rift Valley.
He blended in with the guys very well, you know, with everything else, but on the bike, yeah, he had a difficult time keeping up.
I'd come back absolutely nailed most of the time, and I definitely couldn't keep up with him or any of the other Kenyan guys. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
He suffered a lot, yeah, but he says that it was good for him. He says it helped him, so I believe now that it helped him. Come on in, guys. Chris, welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed since I was here.
Yeah, changes a little. Many more trophies. You know, back then it was just fun. You know? He was just one of us, and you know, he would eat anything we eat. He would do anything we do. He was just a nice boy. And you know, the only difference was the color. So it was other people in the village who were curious. What is this Muzungu doing here?
I even got a nickname around here.
Yeah, his nickname is, actually it's Nganga who gave you the nickname. Yeah,
Nganga.
Yeah, Morongaro. Yeah, Morongaro means the straight one. Yeah, straight and up.
Living that basic lifestyle, not having access to the luxuries and funds and everything that would have in Europe. It didn't stop what he was doing. We were still going out every morning and training, and you didn't actually even realize that you didn't have all the luxuries around you. It almost, you just have, as a kid, we would just have so much fun.
Sometimes we would be hungry and we would be venture into somebody's farm and take some maize and go roast it. You know, all those crazy boyish things, you know, he did that. Yeah, once we stole some fish from the current country club, you know. We came here in the evening and had the fish dinner. You know, there's many things, yeah.
How did you bring the fish back?
You know, he had a little bag, but first we hid it in the jerseys like that.
We've got something small that I brought for you. Obviously, you were a huge part in me being able to win this.
Yeah.
So I think it's only right that you have your own one.
Beautiful. Love it, Chris.
Thanks, kid. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang it in my house. Nobody's gonna touch it.
Cool.
Look at that, guys. Hey, away! Nice, right? With the love letter.
Welcome, Okonoju! I was extremely happy to go back and obviously see them all and meet all the guys who are still there. But in a way, it left me with a bit of a sad feeling that he's still there. He's still in that same place, and not much has changed. They're still trying to achieve a lot, and they've still got big hopes and big plans, but they still haven't really got far, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad, especially when I think that I've come so far in those last sort of 7-8 years since I was with them. Definitely leaves me with that feeling that I want to try and do something for them and help them out. It really has been hard, especially coming from Africa. I think most kids over in Europe have got a structure. If they're interested in cycling, they go to a cycling academy or some kind of a structure, or they go to the National Federation, who have a structure in place to be able to get the youngsters through the system and develop them in a way that they're ready for being professionals. But out in Africa, there was nothing, and especially here in Kenya, there's absolutely no structure at all with a national federation or anything. So it was it was not easy at all.
He's so focused on what he wants. He's incredibly stubborn as well. You know, once he gets an idea in his head, nothing's going to stop him.
The way I looked at it was that if I want to do this badly enough, I'm going to find a way to do it. I remember writing hundreds of emails, sending them to every single registered cycling team, and thinking, right, I'm going to send it to 100, and maybe one will come back to me and say, you know what, we'll give this kid a chance. Through the few races that I did, I thought I had what it took to become a professional, and I just followed that dream.
He did some really good rides with serious riders, and then most important is he was learning very quickly. You know, he observed and learned things. You didn't have to tell him, and that shows what quality of a rider. So it was only a matter of time that he gets stronger. In his head, he knew exactly what he can do to win a race.
At that time in South Africa, there was no proper scientific training or anything of cyclists. So I noticed that and decided to start this academy for that very purpose, to train guys on a scientific basis, to periodize their training, to do cross-training, to look at their nutrition with a view. Our goal was to get a rider into the Tour de France, and Chris bought into that completely.
Robbie taught me a lot more about structuring the training in certain phases to be able to get the most out of it at the sort of peak times, the times when you really need to perform. And I think that's something that was extremely valuable to my career, and something that I'm doing to this day, even with Team Sky.
The difference is with Chris and his association with Sky, what they've been able to do is almost put the icing on the cake. So we like to think we baked the cake, but we couldn't put that icing on. We didn't have the resources and the expertise to put the icing on, and that's where Sky came in.
Just thought I'd show you what I do every night when my back hurts. See, that was the bed I was supposed to sleep on tonight, a nice big double bed, but it's extremely soft, so I've set up camp on the floor there. That's my bed for tonight.
Sleeping on the floor?
Just tonight.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, apparently, I've got a suite.
Oh, yeah.
All right, speak to you tomorrow. Cheers. When you're aiming for something like trying to win the Tour de France, it becomes you're living cycling. Every hour of the day you're doing what's right to be in the best condition possible. It's only natural that you become absolutely engrossed in that. So for me, this is really special, being able to come back here and being able to just switch off from that and sort of remind myself that there is a lot more to life, and life is a lot bigger than our little cycling bubble.
He's like a little kid, you know, spotting game, and he gets so excited. I've been going to the giraffe sanctuary and showing everyone, you know, how to get kissed by the giraffe, you know. It's been really great to see him, you know, especially after the stress of the build up to the tour, and, you know, sort of now just coming off that and just being able to be himself, relax completely and switch off from all of that before he has to gear up for the next one.
My soigneur burnt me with an ice spray on my leg a few days ago from the crash on the first day. Not sure if you can see this, but he's burnt me with the ice spray, which is quite annoying. It's quite sore now, but anyway, could be worse.
His team gave him the nickname of Moses. That came from a number of things, but one of the things, he would wear the Kenyan traditional dress, which is basically a skirt. It's a male skirt that the warriors in Kenya wear.
I love wearing them after the stages of racing in the evenings, and just especially after wearing tight cycling shorts all day, it just lets things sort of hang a little bit loose and air out before the next stage.
What do your teammates make of it?
I think they've got used to it by now. They just call it that skirt of yours, but it's fine. I can take that. The last time I came up here, I'd come up here with my mum and a few friends. This is something that we used to do together, and this is obviously special. It was special to her, and it's always going to have that special feeling for me also. My mum allowed me to have that passion for cycling, and she didn't say to me, listen Chris, you've got to stop mucking around on a bike and you've got to go find a job now or be serious. Or she truly believed that if I loved cycling the way it seemed I loved cycling, that I would be successful at it. I definitely wouldn't have been where I am today had I not had that influence.
Mum was very easygoing and a lot of fun. She was where we picked up our adventurous spirit, I'd say. She loved safaris, loved wildlife, had absolutely no clue about money or business. Life for her was all about enjoyment and people's feelings and friendship.
Hearing how much she supported Chris, and you know, she's an inspiration to all parents, I think, to support your kids, whether or not you think they're being crazy, chasing these dreams.
Whenever I think of winning the Tour this year, it's always something that I just wish that little part of it could be different, is that she could have been there to see that, and just to see how proud she would have been, or how happy she would have been. She was almost too supporting, and even though I'd come 50th or 60th, she'd ring me up and say, oh, you did a super job, you finished the race. I'd just be like, oh, come on Mum, thanks. It would be really special if I could have shared that with her this year, and just to see her genuine pride in her son. What a day, what a day. I've just finished up stage 15, Mont Ventoux summit finish, and my God, what an incredible, incredible, incredible day. I'll never forget today for as long as I live. It is overwhelming. There's no better way of putting it. There's just so much going on. You're literally just getting through each day at a time. Crossing that finish line on each and every stage was just such a relief. Just, okay, we're one stage closer to the end now.
It was a brilliant performance yesterday, but in the media there are some doubts. How do you react to those suspicions?
Yeah, I think it's natural given the history of the sport that people are asking questions, but I know what I'm doing, I know what my teammates are doing, and we're training extremely hard for this. Finished yesterday's stage just to get over the line and straight to the podium and straight onto French live TV to be asked immediately about doping. Obviously that's just disrespectful, if anything, and I didn't crack. I just tried to answer the best I could in French, but it's wearing a bit thin now.
Chris has got a steely resolve. He really has. So the fact that he's got good manners and that he's polite doesn't mean that he's not a leader and that he's not ruthless where he needs to be. He really is driven, Chris, very much so, very much so.
It's not a chance I'm going to let Alberto or anyone out of my sight ever again. I'm going to be ruthless now in the peloton. Make sure I stay behind whatever team is working, and that's my deserved place in the peloton. I'm not going to give that up to anyone. I'm going to follow whoever's working, and no one's getting away from us. Cruised through the last few Ks, hating life, just hanging on Richie's back wheel. He did a fantastic job looking after me and chaperoning me to the finish in a very similar way that I did to Brad last year. I think, yeah, I definitely have sympathy for Brad, and when, in that sense, like when you're not feeling good and someone's trying to ride you to the finish at their pace, it bloody well hurts. Feels like you're at a bit of a disadvantage down here, doesn't it? It feels like everyone can see you, surround you. Honestly, it feels like we're the animals in the zoo in a little way, that people are coming to watch, and it's people do things to try and get you to look up or to try and get your attention, and sort of kind of look up kind of thing. And that's one of the beautiful things about cycling, is that anyone can just come along and they can have their photo with you, or be able to say good luck or congrats or anything like that, and that's one of the really cool things about cycling. Having said that, though, it can be abused, and I think it can go the other way, that a few individuals can ruin it for a lot of other people. So it's something that does need to be controlled. Getting loads of flack from all the Saxo Bank fans, obviously jumping on the whole doping bandwagon and saying that my performances aren't clean or anything, but water off a duck's back. They're not the first ones to accuse me of doping, and they're not going to be the last ones, but I'll be damned if I ever give a positive test. I know what I've done to get here, and I will deserve every single result I get now. Even though you've done everything right and you're in the best form possible, 9 times out of 10 you probably wouldn't win. Someone else would be better than you, or something would go wrong along the way. It's not easy to have everything go right and to get that end result. So when it does happen, it's such a good feeling. It's just it's happiness. It really is. I'm still in yellow. I'm loving it and living the dream. Cool. Speak to you tomorrow.
In my wildest dream, I never thought this moment would come. Just made us all so proud, and you're so happy. Did he give you the right size? I don't care.
Since you left, what's changed, if anything?
I think just the biggest thing that has changed from what I can see are the number of people who want to succeed, want cycling to grow as a sport here in Kenya. That to me is what one of the big driving forces here. This corner looks pretty dangerous. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I'd love to be able to go away from this and to be able to start a small foundation, start collecting funds and channeling it through to where it really counts.
We're looking at the model in Kenya that's been done with the runners and how they've done it, and seen whether that would be a good model to replicate in cycling. And the amazing thing is that we can now really look at it, that we can do this thing properly, all through Chris's win at the Tour de France.
Kenya is a very tribal country. Politics are always a big part of that, and cycling is a sport that has really suffered as a consequence of that. The same cycling federation has been running Kenyan cycling for the past 26 years. It's not going to be easy, and I think we've seen a lot of the challenges that we'd be up against. But we've got to start somewhere. There's no system for the younger riders. There's nothing. Things need to change from the federation, and from there it can filter down with everyone else.
Meeting these teams here in Kenya, meeting athletes, he's just so passionate about it. You know, he can't stop talking about it after we've been to see Kenya and the Kenyan riders, and he just says, you know, these guys are so passionate. You can see more than anything, they just want that chance, and Chris wants to be able to give that to them.
This race has definitely taken its toll on me. I don't know how I'm even going to think about putting a speech together for the final, or what I'm going to say. It's just so much to think about, and I don't want to miss people out, and I've got so many people to thank. I'd like to dedicate the race to my mother, my late mother. But yeah, I don't know. How do you put that into words when you've got a few million people listening to you?
I was crying tears of happiness in my heart. He's British, yes, but for us, he's a Kenyan.
I don't want to tempt fate by saying this, but really, he's got the potential to follow in the footsteps of the greats.
I think I'd like to be seen as the guy who went up against all the odds, came from an unconventional background and still made it happen and made the most of that short window as a professional cyclist.